Hi, welcome to the Augmentation of Man with Kent and Renee Miller, where we are bringing the future. And today we're going to be talking about
our renumeration. The oracles are here.
So the oracles are here, which is really exciting. And we're going to get into that and define what that means.
Yeah, you might want to define oracles before we get off.
So this started, our guidance, the ancients are our primary guides, and then we have some other professors that teach us as well. But I think this started with the ancients, and that was around August of 2017, where they mentioned for the first time renumeration, and in the context of like a reconsideration, maybe as a definition.
Okay, well, after it was first spoken, we wanted to know what the meanings of these different ones are, what the meaning was of renumeration, and what the meaning of an oracle is.
So this first lesson that we got, this word, the renumeration, the lesson explained that it was the completion of self can be attained without renumeration with various degrees of accuracy. So that got us wondering what they were talking about. But it is, what we later found out is it's an aspect of consciousness, and it's opening up our way of thinking.
Yeah, well, it has to do with accuracy of understanding of everything we're given.
Yep, and it's also a self-attainment within the neuronetic field of communication. So if you haven't heard us talking about the neuronet is an unseen network in the atmosphere that this communication, the light that you hear about in ancient texts, and when people say love and light, they usually don't know what that means, but the light is the energetic, communicative energy, and it's an intelligent energy that travels on this nervous type of network throughout creation, and we can learn to tap into that to be able to access information.
Well, October 2018, we began to be told the enumeration sequence had begun.
And so that's just a sequence that was beginning to set all of this up.
Yeah,
and
right, a sequence. Yeah,
it's a sequence. So a sequence of events, the steps in the process that it was just starting to ramp up. And right now we're in the middle of this renumeration.
It's an awakening effect. And you look around now, and if you watch the news or whatever news you watch or whatever people you talk to, there are people beginning to awaken.
Yes, and there's a lot of events playing out in our world, and all of those events have meaning to our awakening. So this requires much learning. This is not the time to disconnect from what is going on in our world. This is a time that we need to really
be involved
in it, to contemplate what's going on, and to research and to dive deep.
This is the time
to find the truth.
This is the time for the human race to awaken to all that is happening. To begin doing your research.
Yes.
Because you have to understand what is happening and why it's happening.
And so this is a correction of our thoughts to mirror a universal understanding. So the events that are playing out in our world today, we have one worldview, and the universe has another view.
It's about truth. What's happening is truth is opening up now.
It is. The question is, are we willing to accept the truth? So that is going to play a big role in who awakens and who doesn't.
We talked about opening your mindset and listening to whatever is being said. Whether you accept it or not, that's up to you. But at least listen to what is being said and the truth will begin to hit you.
Yeah, and what our guides had said was irreversible knowledge will prevail upon this sphere, meaning that when with this new knowledge, we can't go back. It is the end of an era. You can't unknow what you know. So once you've opened that Pandora's box, we can only move forward. We cannot go back.
Well, we're entering a new age, an age where the period where disease and humanity itself will be accelerated or accentuated.
And so this disease that they're talking about is not the physical disease.
It's not the COVID-19. They're not talking about
They're
that.
not talking about that disease. They're talking about a creeping disease among humanity that is relative to the greed that is happening and continuing to escalate. So what we're seeing is that all around the world, that there is this creeping accentuation of greed.
Remember, disease or greed can be a disease by many.
Mm-hmm. And so we're entering this period where we're going to see that this so-called disease, the greed, is going to be accentuated.
And you can tell by the news that there's many billionaires and millionaires that are playing the game of greed. It's not that you have a house, a nice house, that is not greed, or a nice car, that's not greed. It's when you become greedy, is when you become in a power play.
Yeah. And so they're talking about the greed of those in charge will multiply 3 to 4 times what it has been. And it's going to be over the unwitting. So the population who's not necessarily paying attention, seizing absolute power. So we're in a period of darkness. That darkness relates to what we are able to see, what understanding we have gained. And as we've said before, there has been this complete control of consciousness in all different arenas, especially the media. So we have to be very persistent and creative in finding the news and finding the truth.
Well, our enumeration is taking place as of now, and it's going to reveal to those that desire it, the truth.
Yeah, and the key word is to those that desire it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people out there that, you know, they don't want to hear what's going on because it's too upsetting. It causes a lot of anxiety, and it is predicted that our anxiety will increase. But this is our awakening.
This is what's causing the disunity, because those don't want to listen. They watch particular newscasts, and they believe everything that's been told in the newscast. And so that they close their minds, their perceptions to what truth might be.
Mm-hmm. Okay? Instead of expanding their
and so there will be no unity until those will start listening to what others are telling them.
But also, there's disunity because of what those in charge are doing, because they're releasing a lot of misinformation. They're putting a lot of misinformation out there, or they're not even disclosing the truth. They're just not even, there's news medias that are not even covering major stories that are out there.
Those that talk to you in a normal tone voice, not in a raised voice like screeching or screaming, but in a normal tone, as in a conversational voice. Listen to that, exchange ideas. Those people are trying to find the truth also. The ones that are in the screeching mode or high-pitched mode are usually disruptive.
Well, they have their own biases and possibly things to hide too.
Yeah.
So this was the exciting part now, is that the oracles, we were told that oracles are here, and they are releasing a communicative understanding to humanity to counterbalance or to counter the misinformation that's being released by humanity.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation, as we know, over the years. This has not happened just recently. Misinformation has been given going back many thousands, maybe hundreds of years possibly, and no one's paid attention to it.
So this is an energy flow that occurs when there's a release of misinformation. This energy flow is releasing the truth onto the neural net, is what I'm guessing, and that we are going to be interfacing with that neural net, as we described earlier in this video, and we are going to see through that misinformation and the disinformation to see the truth.
Yeah.
And that is what the job of the oracles is at this period of time.
Yeah, we don't know exactly where this will all lead to, but those that seek truth and learn truth will be exempt from many things that are going to happen to the earth. As it says very much in the Bible, the tares and the grasses will be separated.
I think, though, isn't that those who are ready to move on versus those that are not?
Well, those that are ready to move on are kind of accepted truth, and kind of accepted what is really going on.
Yes. So the ones who awaken are really the ones who are moving on into this fifth world, and the ones who were not ready to accept the truth will not be able to move on.
Yeah, as the Hopi explained in their prophecy, the separation of the peoples.
And so the evidence is rising, the truth is coming out, and with that, distrust will also increase.
Right. So a Lazarus effect is coming. And if you don't know who Lazarus is, it's what Lazarus was risen from the dead. So the dead aren't going to necessarily arise again, but the Lazarus effect will affect those that are here on this planet.
So what they mean, what our guides mean by that is, yes, it's an awakening, but that humanity is dead on the inside by universal understanding and universal standards, that we do not aspire to learn like the rest of the universe. And that is all going to be changing. All the events that are playing out today are meant to engage us in that learning. They aspire to learn the truth.
It may take some time for all those to finally awaken, that are going to awaken. It may take more time than you're willing to give right now, but it will happen.
It's important. And also the guides had said the dead will walk again. And that took up until this point in time for me to understand that, because it wasn't until we had more information and more guidance that we understood some of the previous messages that we were given. So
humanity has been in a dead place for a long time.
We're not learning, we're not growing, we're not aspiring to develop the higher self, which is all about the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding. So that is where our true value is development of the higher self. So this is our awakening, but there will be people who are not ready to see the truth and will deny it. There will be those looking for the truth who will find it So you see a separation there, and there's going to be even more divide, I think, because of that.
Bigger separation.
Because you're going to see people who have the truth and people who are outright denying the truth. And so that will cause some discord there.
So the enumeration will include concepts, many concepts.
Many concepts, a lot of learning.
Of the whole.
But it includes it includes the concepts of that unity, of the oneness. All of that will come into play.
Of accepting others other than yourself as they are.
And what I've come to learn is that the oneness is being able to be an active part of that neural net exchange of intellectual information, to be one with the field,
to communicate with each other,
that of entities who communicate with each other in the promotion of universal consciousness. So that is where we need to move into, is the acceptance of other entities, in that they will be our teachers in the near future. And when we become one, is we are working with them. We are accepting that we don't understand. They are going to be the knowledgeable teachers. They deserve our reverence and respect. So there's a degree of humility that needs to come with that on our part.
The question is, are you ready to become one, to unify with those around you? Are you ready to take on the responsibility of knowing the truth?
That's a good one.
With that, I want to thank you for being with us today.
And just a quick reminder, both the books in the Augmentation of Man series are on sale for $12.88 on Amazon. This is The Acquiescence of Humanity. There is a plethora of information. It is hardcore enlightenment studies.
Yes, hardcore is right.
But that's why we're here. That's why we have the video series. And go back in our videos, especially on YouTube, because we've got more on YouTube than anywhere else. But we have all the basics way back at the very beginning. So don't be afraid to go back and look at the old ones, because it's good information. Anyway, we wish you the wonderful peace and joy of this season. And may we all love each other and come to understand what our role is in this big play here, taking place here on Earth. And as always, yes, peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment.
Yeah. And peace within will give you the love you are looking for.
Yes.
Have a great week.
Take care.